Hey, how you guys doing? This is Nick D, aka Mr. Mental Muscle, back again. Now I'm going to review the Oregon and FSU Rose Bowl game. Now I'm not going to look at it from a purely football perspective, but more so of a psychological perspective of how one of the top ranked teams in the nation fell so badly to Oregon. Now, of course, Oregon has a great offense, plays some good defense, and capitalized over turnovers. Any team, regardless if top ranked or not, if they're capitalizing on opportunities given to them, they will definitely win the game. And it may be odd that the final score was such a blowout, but going into halftime, that FSU was only down by 5 points, 18-13. And they actually had scored going into the halftime, so momentum was in their side. Now that's a big part of sport, whether it's football, basketball, momentum. Who's up at the time? Can they feed off that energy? Can they drive when the game's in their favor? Now, coming out of halftime, they got the ball back. Now, unfortunately, little mistakes started building up, and the pressure grew, and Oregon capitalized off of almost every opportunity that FSU gave them. Now, let's look at Oregon's side. A lot of people looked at them as being the lesser team, given that Oregon comes from a different conference, the ACC plays different teams, and FSU is a returning champ. So, in a sense, believe it or not, some people put them as the underdog. Now, of course, this is not an underdog type team. You give a team like this the chance to capitalize, they're going to win. Now, when two teams come together of this caliber, it's not about the better athlete. They both have 4-3 receivers. They both have big linemen. They both have athletes, great quarterbacks. So what really differs between the two? Basically, the mental skills. When Oregon started losing momentum towards the end of the half, they could have easily came back from the halftime and let the game run away, and FSU would have trumped them. But they came in with the head still high that we still have this game in our control. We're still up. Yes, they started closing in, but it's still our game. Now let's go back to FSU with the turnovers. Like I said, I'm gonna keep beating a dead horse. Turnovers pretty much lost this game for FSU. They could have won this game. I'm not a fan of neither teams, but FSU could have won this game. But the thing you got to think about is when you fumble the ball, being a former athlete, football in particular, you got to put those plays out of your head. Now, they still put up a fight, but you could see that they were still lingering from the other plays, the other turnovers, and it just started piling up, getting worse and worse. And as an athlete, when you're in that predicament, it's fight or flight. Two things can happen. You're going to get it out your head and improve, or it'll start breaking down and start thinking about, start getting to you. Now, some sports psychologists, there's theories called paralysis by analysis. You start choking under pressure. Why does this happen? Not because you're a worse player, because we know these players are in great shape. You know they're fast, they're strong, they're athletic. But when you're in the point when you're down by a lot or you're down at all, you start overthinking things and thinking that I need to come back, I need to make this happen. And that's the sad part. The more you try it, the more you tend to make mistakes. And at the end of the day, that's what I think this comes down to. FSU made a lot of mistakes that were them trying to come back, and when they're paying too much attention to the task at hand, it actually makes them decrease in performance. As the untrained eye that isn't familiar with sports psychology, you just see it as choking, but there's deeper underlying factors that go into choking. I'm not going to get into all that right now, but just basically FSU shot themselves in the foot, simply said. But that's my analysis, and thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe, and yeah, have a good day.